Today, here on Blue Shift Ministries, we're going to talk about famine and drought. There has been much speculation about famines that are coming. I strongly recommend everyone, or especially if you're someone in a third world country, to start building silos. You can also build a mini silo for yourself. A silo is pretty much a container unit that you can fill with pretty much anything you need. And I strongly recommend when you build your silo, keep it out of sight. Build it in a way that it blends in with the land so no one knows that you have it. You can also build underground silos. Your silo should contain the following: wheat, flour, grains, rice, beans, blue corn, red corn, oatmeal, oats, granola, rice, when you place these dry goods into your silos, be sure that they're bagged and be sure that you have like a pellet at the bottom of it. Don't let it touch the ground. If you could put a shelf in there, that's great. Keep it above ground. Don't let it just sit there. Keep it in a very dry, cool place. Dry the better. It's best to have these fill in your silo because these things are dry goods and they could last a very, very long time. You can also go to Agassiz Farms. You can get emergency food in buckets, yes, but I also recommend these elements. Wheat, you could pretty much make anything out of it. Flour, I would go with coconut flour, but I guess it's just a matter of taste. Grains, you could make anything out of it. Rice, beans, blue corn, red corn. Okay, the reason why I'm saying blue and red corn is because they're the healthiest. Even you have to be careful whenever you save up food, be sure it's healthy food. So this way you won't become diseased. If you're just going to eat anything, you won't be able to keep up. You won't be able to survive the famine. You have to be sure you're on top of your game. You got to be sure you're alert. Blue corn, red corn is far more healthier than yellow corn. Yellow corn is a GMO. You just want to stay away from that. Remember, we don't know how long this is going to last. I know many people are saying 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. We just have to, unfortunately, prepare for the worst. Oatmeal and oats, this is just a great healthy snack to have. I'm not crazy about oatmeal, but it's a lifesaver. Rice, you just choose of your kind. You just, it's a matter of taste. You choose the kind of rice you want. Again, you got to keep it clean. You got to keep it bagged. You got to keep it in sacks. You don't want it to be mixed with any kind of germs, dirt, pests, roaches, insects, rats, that sort of thing. You have to keep it clean as possible. If you could get buckets and put in buckets, that's even better. You could leave in the baggie and put in the bucket. If you don't have it, you could get any bucket, put a garbage bag in, put 2 garbage bags and fill it up. Keep it tight. You can also get those airtight baggies that have the, I'm not too sure what this is, like an air vac, and fill it this way and put it in a bucket and keep it stacked. Remember, you got to keep it healthy. Okay, when it comes to water, this is a little bit difficult. You have to save up as much water as you can. You have to build a water infiltration unit. I suggest you go to YouTube and just pretty much look at all the water filtration services, water filtration methods as much as possible. You have to keep it clean. If that gets contaminated, you're in big trouble. You're not going to be able to use it. Also, be very mindful about water. If you're going to take water and bathe with it, don't throw out that water. Take that water, put in another containment unit, and use it either for flushing toilets or use it for something like you could take your bath water and flush a toilet. You could take your bath water and wash the toilet. You could take your bath water and wash the floor with it. Things like that. You got to know how to separate waters and you have to know how to keep it clean and contain it. It would be best to keep all this information to yourself. If you're someone in a third world country and you don't know how to build a well, I would strongly suggest you start to acquire people that know how to build wells to go digging. There are a few animals you're going to need in your camp. Elephants, Camels and cows. Excuse me. They know how to find water naturally. Listen to the animals. If you have an elephant, excuse me. Elephants, camels, and cows know how to find water. Follow them. Let them dig around. Whatever they say, whatever they do what they do. They find a spot and they start digging. Send your men in. Build that well. Build that water filtration there. Camels, they always know where water is because their hump is always filled with water. So they know by radar and by senses where water is because they have to keep their humps full. Cows, they have an extrasensory perception to pick up moisture within the grass because they are herbivores. Wherever they find grass, they're not really smelling the grass, they're smelling the water within the grass. Grass is very moist. There's a moisture in the grass. It's mossy. You need cows. You need the animals. You need elephants, camels, and cows to find water immediately and fast. They just have that intuition. If you're someone that, if you could get one of those sticks, I'm not sure if this works or not. I call them water sticks that follow the water and that energy and it points down. Go for it. I don't know if that works or not. Let me know if that does. Another thing, you want to plant the following vegetables only: onions, garlic of all kind, potatoes of all kind, ginger, onions, garlic, potatoes, ginger. Why? Because these vegetables don't require much water. You want to, if you're going to have crops, remember crops take a lot of water, but you're not going to have that luxury during the drought. So you want to plant crops that don't require much water. Onions, garlic, potatoes, ginger. These vegetables are perfect for a famine because 1, they grow in abundance. 2, you don't need to maintain them. You don't have to do much to maintain them. 3, you could just toss your spuds in. They're easy to plant. Toss your spuds in, toss your garlic heads in, and you could grow much in abundance. All you need, you could do this in a tire in your home, or you could do this outside. All you need is you don't even need soil. You could do this with hay. As long as they're covered, they're outside with the sunshine, and very little interpretation, meaning moisture, very little water, they grow in abundance. This is famine food. Onions, garlic, potatoes. Also, in your silos, on the side of your silos, you're going to want to build a few containers for the following: olive oil, you're gonna need honey, vinegar. Apple vinegar is best, but you do what you can. Wine. Whether it's cooking wine or the good stuff, but just get some wine. Red or white. If you could get both, that would be perfect. Why? With olive oil, you're going to need some kind of oil to cook all of this wheat, flour, and grains with. For you, for your people, if you're coming from a third world country, you're going to need an abundance of olive oil. Honey, why? Because honey by nature is an antiseptic. Again, you have to keep yourself healthy. To anyone in a third world country watching this video, you need to keep your people healthy. Apple vinegar and honey combined, this kills a significant amount of bacteria in food, and during famines. Famines are very dangerous because disease usually erupts immediately. So to neutralize that, you have to eat very healthy. You have to eat the vitamin because there may not be vitamins around during this famine. Olive oil, honey, apple vinegar, wine, cooking wine, red wine, white wine. Just pour on the wine. So just find any wine you can gain. because you're going to need, this is in combination of what you're storing in those silos. You need a separate container for olive oil, honey, apple vinegar, wine. And all these foods, they last very long because you have them in a silo. Olive oil lasts for a very long time. Honey lasts for a very, very long time. Even when it turns, it crystallizes, it's still good enough to eat. You just put that honey, heat it up in the pan, mix it with some grains of flour. You could even fry it with the olive. It's just still just as good. You mix it with the onions and garlic. You have a morsel here that can really keep you healthy and keep you alive, you and your family life, for a very, very long time. One last thing. During a famine, you must build an altar. You must build Father's altar. And pray to it every day. Father's altar is pretty much similar to the Ark of the Covenant. It's the precise instructions and building blocks of what he gave the Hebrew Moses upon Mount Sinai. All the information he pretty much gave to Moses when he went to go free his people. You need to build that altar. You need to worship it. You need to worship Father. That's your landing strip for Father's worship. That altar, that Ark of the Covenant, you must pray by it every day and communicate yourself with Father. Why? Because during a famine, not only is there a famine or a drought, not only is food scarce, not only is water scarce. When food and water gets scarce, the demons come out to play full force. You're not going to be able to fight them on your own. You're going to be less than half your energy because you're just pretty much going on a vegetation diet here. We need more than just this. This is, of course, Father wants us to prepare, but we're going to need more. Not more food, but more power from Father. We have to completely transform in order to survive. Every demon will come out of the woodwork. The demon of insanity, the demon of hunger, the demon of war, the demon of fights, the demon of you name it. The demons will come out to play. The demons will come at the same time. A lot of things can happen at the same time during famines. The 3 days of darkness, war, sickness, all these things. Remember upon the desert, when there wasn't enough water to feed the people of Moses as they left Egypt, Father erupted in the sand, a rock, and the water came. This is why we build the altar. The altar can feed us. The altar can erupt water from it. So for us to drink from water, to show Father that we're going through a famine, we're going through a drought, but we know it's not because you did this. It's because the enemy did this. But we believe in you, Father.